Yo guys, and welcome to a new video. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and kind of what's next for that game. So for those of you who are new to Duel Links and just don't know how the update system for that game works, so once every year in October we get a new world release. And that world obviously corresponds to the show that is next in line. The only time that was kind of different was for Dark Side of Dimensions, but still, we got some kind of new world in October. And at that point you might think, okay, well, I don't get it, what's the issue? Just next year we get 7s, after that we get to Go Rush, and by that time we might actually already get a new show. And that may be true, but I don't think so. You need to keep in mind that Duel Links uses the master rule, rule set. It might be a little bit altered with, the 3 monster zones, the skills and stuff, but still, the core of it is still the main game. While, in 7s, they use rush duels, and we've never even seen them play master rules. And you can't really play rush duel cards in the normal game. So if they want to use 7s and Go Rush characters, there's kind of only 2 ways that they could do it if they really wanted to. The first way, and the one that I don't think anyone really wants, is just to, for example, you release all the characters, then you guys just like a generic spellcaster support character, Luke is a dragon support character, and so on and so forth. While that would be cool to just get the characters, that's not kind of the point of it. The other way, and I think the way that most people would want it if they were to do it, is to make it so that every character, when we get a new world, we also get obviously a new mechanic. And so whenever we get a new character for that specific world, they have some kind of generic skill to support that mechanic. So with Arc 5, every time we get an Arc 5 character, they have the swing into action pendulum skill. The Xyz characters all have like the overlay boost stuff. So if they wanted to, they could technically have it so that there is a skill that basically makes it so that you play in the rush duel format while your opponent plays in the master duel format. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Obviously that would lock you into rush duel cards so you can't link, but as cool as that would be, I don't think that's going to happen. So I kind of wanted to go over some other options of what's going to happen with Duel Links after we get Rain's World next month. And, again, what will happen in the next year's month, in the next year time slot, I mean. So the first option, which I don't mind, is for them to give us the OCG Structures world. So for those of you who might not know what OCG Structures even is, it's a manga series where it's just, again, a whole new cast of characters who just use modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules. I wouldn't mind that, and we've seen with Tour Guide from the Underworld that they can give voices to characters that, haven't had any before. So I think that would be cool. Again, will they do that or not? I don't know, but that's an option and I personally wouldn't mind it. So now I guess we should probably talk about the elephant in the room, that being Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel. So for those of you who don't know what Cross Duel is, it's kind of a new app that is currently available in a select few countries. It's, I think, Canada, Netherlands and Hong Kong. And obviously if you have a VPN you can get it for yourself. but it's basically a completely new way of playing the game, and it has all 7 shows in it, and from the leaks that were found yesterday, it's even going to include Go Rush, actually fairly soon, because we've already had Transamurenek and Galactic Oblivion found in the game's data. So, at that point, the question comes of whether this game is going to replace Duel Links or not. And basically, ever since this game was announced, and every time we get a new beta, everyone says this is the new Duel Links. After we get Rain's World, they're going to go for one more year, and this game is going to replace it. But I don't actually think that's true. So, again, the thing that people are comparing this with is the game that was released before Duel Links. I think it was called Yugioh New Generation, something like, or Yugioh Generations, something like that. I can't exactly remember what it was, but after Duel Links was released, they kept that game up for a few years, I think like 3 years, and then when Duel Links reached the height of its popularity, they just cut that game out and kept going with Duel Links. The difference is, though, those games are practically the same. What I mean by that is Duel Links and Generations use Master Duel rules. Yes, there are skills, there is 3 monster zones, everything like that, I do understand. But the core mechanics of the game, are still the same, right? The rules are still just normal Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just that Duel Links is basically an upgraded version of that previous game. But Cross Duel just is a completely different rule set. If anything, it's closer to Rush Duels than Master Duels, since you can summon as many monsters as you want, you just don't get that first turn draw until you get 5. So I want to flash back to Jump Festa like a year and a half ago, where Master Duel was first revealed. And I don't mean like the gameplay trailer, I mean just the first reveal that we got that it was even in production. In that presentation, they actually reference Duel Links, and they say that the only thing that's similar between those 2 games is the fact that they are digital games. And that Master Duel is not going to be replacing Duel Links. That is just, again, the only thing that's similar between them is the fact that they are digital games. The thing that stuck out to me most during that presentation was the thing that they said being Duel Links is a game for casual fans and anime fans who want to see these characters interact and duel against each other and play as these characters. While Master Duel is for the actual core fan, like the meta, TCG, OCG fans. And that's kind of a reason why a lot of people think that Cross Duel is going to replace Duel Links, is because you can see that they're focusing heavily towards the anime fans, right? I mean, having all 8 shows in one game, obviously as anime fans that's really cool, but I don't also think it means it's replacing it. Now I want to flash back to Jump Festa 2.5 years ago, when Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 was announced. At that point, people got really worried about what was going to happen with the actual card game. One of the big things with the card game was that every 3 years we get a new show, which gives us a new mechanic, and that shakes up the meta. But since we didn't get a new show, some people actually got worried at that point. However, here we are 2.5 years later, and both the card game and the anime are actually just going really strong. So at that point you may be asking, okay, well, what does this have to do with Duel Links? Well, it's actually very simple. I think Duel Links is in a way on its last leg, but only with the core anime fans. What I think should be the right thing for them to do is, after Reigns releases, go, the next year go normally as you always do, but now have a focus that every single character you release from now on is the actual fan favorite characters. So that being, Revolver and just everyone like that, right? The rivals, the villains, every of the big fan favorite characters. Once you've released basically all of them, after that, Duel Links just becomes kind of its own game, right? It's going to be in that same spot that the normal card game was 2.5 years ago, where everyone thinks it's kind of at a bad point, but it's just going to kind of be changing constantly, but still with no big new rules. So currently I think that Duel Links is in the state that the TCG and OCG were 2.5 years ago, where they get their final new mechanic, their final show that they can take from, and they can just use that as much as they want. I mean, yes, are we going to be limited with characters? Sure, but you still have 3 or 4 years of characters to take from. And I mean, the card game has, I don't even know how many cards, but it's a lot. So they can just keep bringing out characters, keep bringing out cards, keep bringing out skills, and just, keep adding to what they've been doing since the start. And then Cross Duel is now going to become what Duel Links currently is, the thing for casual anime fans who just don't really care about, too much about meta strategy, and they can just go over there, while Duel Links is going to kind of keep growing in the same way that the normal TCG and OCG are. Now, obviously, yes, there is that possibility of it going for another 2 years and then just cutting off the game. But they really don't have to do that. Again, it's a completely different format, it's a completely different game, and I do honestly think it can just stay on its own. Again, could they add 7s and just not give any support? Sure. Will they do that? I don't know. I mean, at that point, that's kind of lame. Again, as I said, the point of Duel Links is and always will be, at least in some way, for anime fans, right? They said that themselves, and even if it does go to a more, complex place, it's still going to have that aspect in it. And, giving us characters like Yugioh and Luke just so they can give them to us, I mean, that doesn't really, that's not the point. The point is you want to see them use their cards. You want to see the animations for 7th Throat and Dragears, even though, yes, the cross-duel ones are probably going to be better, but still, the point is you don't just want to see those characters interact, you want to see them play their own cards. And I don't know, I just feel like if you just give them just generic support for their own type, it's not what fans want. So I honestly do believe that the best thing for them to do right now is, after they release Reigns World, keep going like they normally do, but make every character every month exciting. Make it so that, there's always the character that you release is either going to be someone who's going to actually have an impact on the game, or who might not, but is at least a fan favorite character who fans have been waiting for so long. And then, once you've released basically all the important characters, just say, okay, this is the game, we're going to keep putting more cards in it, but the characters we're going to be giving you from now on are going to be a little bit less exciting, and we're going to focus a bit more on cross-duel as far as the anime fan service side of things goes. But I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Do you guys have your own theories on what you think will happen, or do you agree with my thing of just keep going and make it its own format like they did with the TCG and OCG 2.5 years ago? I'd love to hear from you guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.